How to cut tiles. Almost certainly when you are tiling any surface, you will need to cut your tiles. For instance, if an exact number of tiles won't fill a space, or to fit around a window or pipe. You'll find a full list of tools and materials you'll need at the end of each section. We're going to start by looking at how to cut ceramic tiles that are under 15 millimeters thick. There are a number of different ways to cut straight lines across ceramic tiles, each with their own advantages. But with each, shards of tile could fly off during cutting, so be sure to wear protective gloves and safety glasses or goggles. The simplest method is to use a tile scribe. Use a metal ruler and pencil or felt tip pen to mark a line across the tile. Scrape along the mark using the tile scribe and the metal ruler. Ensure that the tile is scored all the way along the length to prevent it from breaking. To snap the tile, place a pencil or similar under the line on the tile and apply downward pressure on the sides. Or you can rest the tile on the edge of a worktop and press on the sides. Here are the tools you will use for cutting with a tile scribe. Another option is to use a combined scorer and snapper. Mark the tile as before. Ensure that the tile is scored all the way along the length to prevent it from breaking. Insert the tile into the jaws of the tool, aligning the scored mark. Squeeze the handles. The tile will snap in two. Here are the tools you will need when using a combined scorer and snapper. If you have a lot of tiles to cut, you could use a tile cutting machine, which will be quicker. It combines scoring and snapping with a sturdy bed to support the tile. Mark up the tile and insert into the machine so that the mark is in line with the guide. Lower the handle to bring the scorer into contact with the tile. Push and pull to score the line onto the tile. Then, lower the handle so the snapper touches the tile and apply pressure. Here are the tools you will need when using a tile cutting machine. Sometimes you will want your tiles to be cut in a curve or an irregular line, perhaps to go around a pipe or a toilet. The best way to do this is to create an accurate paper template. First, cut a piece of paper or card the same size as your tiles. Then, in the area of the tile that will come into contact with the obstruction, cut a series of slits about 5 to 10 millimeters wide, slightly longer than the obstruction. Place the paper tile in position, remembering to take into account the 5 millimeter grout gap, with the cut slits against the obstruction, and carefully fold back each slit, pressing them against the obstacle. Then draw a line with a pencil or pen along the shape of the obstruction. Now remove the paper tile and cut along the line. Place the paper tile back into position and check again that the shape is exactly right. Then secure the paper to the tile using tape and mark along the edge of your template using a pencil or pen. Now, cut the tile. First, scratch over the line using a tile scribe. This will help the tile cut cleanly at the mark. The simplest way to cut the tile is to use a tile nipper. Score over the line using a tile scribe. With your tile nipper, you take tiny little chunks of tile out, slowly chipping away until you get near to the line. Once you get close to your mark, be careful and make the cuts even smaller so you don't overcut or shatter the tile. Once you're on the line, you'll need to smooth the edge down using a tile file or some very fine sandpaper. Then give the tile a wipe down with a damp cloth to eliminate dust or any remaining splinters. Here are the tools you will need when using a tile nipper. An alternative is to use a specialist blade. In this case, a tungsten carbide rod, which is a thin wire covered with abrasive particles, which can be attached to a hacksaw handle. Securely hold the tile on a workbench and gently cut along the line using the hacksaw, pulling the saw backwards and forwards. Afterwards, smooth off the edges using a tile file or some sandpaper, and wipe off with a damp cloth. Here are the tools you will need when using a tungsten carbide rod. A further option is this tile saw, which is a jigsaw fitted with a tungsten carbide tile cutting blade. Choose a slow cutting speed and turn the tile, not the tool, to make the cut. Take care not to get fingers too close to the blade, and always wear gloves and goggles. Cut to inside the line and use the tile file to make precise adjustments. Here are the tools you will need when using a tile saw. Porcelain tiles are thicker than ceramic tiles, usually 15 mm, and natural tiles are thicker still, so they will require specialized cutting. Use a diamond blade wet saw tile cutter like this. It can cut tiles up to 25 mm thick. Always be sure to keep the water topped up, otherwise the blade might overheat. Here are the tools you will use for cutting porcelain or natural tiles.